everybody. Thank you for joining me today. So today's video is going to be a DT video, a design team video, and I decided to use a sketch. And we're going to use this My Favorite Thing sketch, and I got it from Pinterest. And I want to say it was from Christy Marcotte on one of her videos that she did when she does her 6x6 pads. You should definitely check those out on YouTube if you get a chance. So I decided to use some of the cut aparts for the cards that we're doing today. And I really liked the cut aparts, and I was thinking I would use the one on the end that has the oval in the middle, and then the lady on the other end um, for the front of the card. So that's going to go with this one. And then I'm just going to trim the last one over, and then it's going to go there. Now, what I did realize is that the cards are a little bit bigger than the actual measurement that was on the sketch itself. And I'm not going to be able to get right to the same measurements, only because if I do, it'll either cut off her head or her feet. Um, so on this particular one, I just trim it down as close as I can, so that way there's a little bit of distance for the piece that I'm going to use for the banner. And then that'll be the one card. And then this one, there's a little bit more room, so I was able to take off a little bit more. So this one is probably more true to the sketch sizes than the other one. So I'm just trimming it down on all four sides. And then we're going to put the little coffee there. And I decided for the one with the oval, uh, I was going to stamp and cut out one of the coffee cups. So we're just going to real quick fold our base. And this is a little bit thicker card stock, so I do score on both sides. That kind of helps. And then I also like to get my Teflon bone folder, and use that. It helps get a nice crease on it. All right. So now, uh, before I do the stamping, I decided that for the mat for the whole thing, I wanted to use the brown cardstock, and then I want to get them mostly together before I do the stamping part. Sometimes I do it before, but on this particular video, I waited until I got everything basically put together. Now, I do have one public statement to make. I got the big pack of Nina 110-pound cardstock, and I took it to Staples to get it cut. And I do find that some of my card bases are slightly off. And sometimes I have a nice or decent border around the edge, and I find sometimes I don't. Um, I don't know really how to fix it. I think Jennifer McGuire always talks about uh, Kinkos. I think she talks about Kinkos. Um, I think, in my opinion, I'd rather cut it myself. I know it's a lot of sheets to go through, but I think, I'll just cut as I go. And that way I know it's the correct size, because I have all this paper now that's been cut, and some of it is a little bit too big, some of it is too short because of the way it was cut. So, I don't know. Check out yours. Make sure whoever you talk to, they definitely understand what you're trying to do as far as cutting it in half, and that it cuts correctly. Okay, so now that it's mostly put together, and we on those banner pieces, I did cut just a little bit of a V out the bottom. We're going to take the ink pad that came in the collection, the Kaiser Craft ink. This is bark. And we're going to ink up the coffee cup. And I wind up doing it twice because it's a new stamp, and sometimes uh, I had to work it a little bit. And then for the center piece, I'm going to stamp it here on this pattern paper. And we're going to do some paper piecing. So right here, I'm just going to take some washi tape and cut out our coffee cup. And then I'm going to hand cut out the little sleeve for it. Now, I did cut on the inside of the line, and on hindsight, being 2020, I should have cut on the outside. Only because it winds up being a little too short in some spots, and to fix it, I do use the marker, um, but it just makes the lines a little bit like almost too thick. You'll see, but we work it out. So, whenever you do paper piecing, you always want to go around the outside edge. I couldn't find my black marker, so I wound up taking the brown, which for me works out better because the ink that we did on the actual stamp itself was brown, so it ties in together. And then I just took the marker and kind of created a shadow on the bottom and the top, and then over here on the side it got a little bit thick, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna be it's gonna look crazy. So I decided to color the top of the lid, and then when I get done with that, I realized, you know what, let me just trim this down. It looks a little bit crazy with that um, marker going around and bleeding out. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to trim this down so that way it's nice and close to the line, and I won't have to worry about the piece that I messed up. So that's good. And then I take the marker and now I just do the outside edge of the cup itself, and it's all done. And then for this particular card, when we go to finally put everything together, I'm going to use more foam tape on that side. So I'm going to tape that down, and I realized that I'm doing it on the angle, and I'm like, wait, is this crooked? I don't know if that's ever happened to anybody. I don't know. Like, I was in the middle of working it, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, I didn't even hold that up. Because sometimes if you hold it straight up so you can look at it from the front, you can see if it's wonky. So thankfully it wasn't too crazy and I could kind of work it out. But that's why sometimes I like using the wet glue with the tape runner, because technically I probably could have pulled it up if I, found out that it was crooked soon enough. So once again, putting some foam tape on our focal piece, and then I'm going to take some of that same foam tape and put it on the back of the cup. All right. And then this one piece back here was giving me a little bit of trouble, but we finally got it on. And then I took the last little piece I had, and if it ever gives you trouble, like any of the backings, I always take my pokey tool, and it'll help taking that little piece off. And then I just added a little extra piece of foam on the one side because of the dimension, so that way the coffee would be nice and even. And then you can leave these just as they are, and then you could just write a message or attach a gift card to like Starbucks or something in there for your friends, and they just make sweet little cards like thinking of you, you know, that type of thing. So at the very end here, you can see the close-ups of the different cards, and at the very end, I will have links to previous videos that we've done as far as the design team, which would be the haul video, and if they are available on the website, I will have it linked down below as well. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great day.